Good morning, students. So we will continue chapter 15, improvement in food resources. So today we will start with differences between manure and fertilizers. In my previous lecture I have explained to you the definition of manure and fertilizers, types of manure. So manure, it is an organic matter added in the soil which enhance the fertility of the soil, right? And whereas fertilizers, they are commercially, for business point of view, commercially produced chemicals. These are the chemicals which are added in soil to enhance the fertility, right? It is naturally formed and it is prepared in labs, industries, factories, right? Second, manure, for example, cow dung, they are not nutrient specific. You cannot highlight they are rich in which nutrient, but the fertilizers available in market like urea, NPK, they are nutrient specific. So, after checking the deficiency in the soil, the farmers add specific fertilizers in the soil which are specifically rich in, for example, nitrogen, phosphorus, right? Third, manure, they are bulky, that is very heavy and not easy to transport. Whereas fertilizers, they are packed in bags and they are easily transported from one place to another, right? Then next is these manure, they are not so easily soluble, they are less soluble in water, whereas fertilizers, they are just like salts, so they are easily soluble. As a result, they are quickly, readily absorbed by the plants, right? So students, you can see that all the points which I have written of manure, they are negative points. Negative in sense weak point, this not nutrient specific, bulky, not easy to transport, less soluble. In fertilizers, you can see they have positive points like you can get specifically nutrient rich fertilizers in market, very easy to transport from factory to various places, easily soluble in water and quickly taken by plants. But the most important positive character feature of manure is it is eco-friendly. It never causes harm to the environment, to the soil, to the plant, whereas fertilizers, continuous use of fertilizers can destroy soil fertility. They make the soil weak, changes the nature of soil, either the soil becomes too acidic or becomes too basic, destroys soil fertility, and many times the organic matter which is present in the soil is not replenished. It can cause harm to the microorganisms present in the soil in long terms, right? So manure are eco-friendly, whereas fertilizers, they can damage, destroy the soil fertility, they can change the nature of soil. So it is very important to apply fertilizers carefully in terms of dose, how much quantity you are putting in, at what time you are using it, and observing its pre and post applications, precautions. So, fertilizers to be used in appropriate amount. Right, students? Now, yesterday I explained to you organic farming. I hope it's clear to all. Now, the next point, next step for increasing the production is irrigation. Irrigation, that is watering the crops. You all know that India is monsoon fed country. It was mainly, monsoon fed country. If there is rain, crops flourish, grow. And if there is no rain, there is poor monsoon, it will cause crop failure. But thanks to our science and technology and our green revolution, that many various modes have been developed to provide water throughout the year. So, you can take out page number 207, the different irrigation methods, that is wells. Wells, right? One is dug well. Dug well. Dug well, water is collected from water bearing strata. Where water is there, till there it is dug and water is taken out. And second in this well is tube well. In Punjab and Haryana, they mainly obtain water from this source. In houses also we have installed tube well. So tube well can take out water, tap water from the deeper strata with the help of pumps. Here we dig and collect water from water available level, strata. And here with the help of pumps, we take out water from the deeper layer, deeper strata, right? Then second is canal system. In Punjab and Haryana, famous for this canal system. It is an extensive irrigation system. In this, the canals receive water mainly from river. The river is bifurcated into branched canals, right, to provide water throughout the year. Then third is river lift system. River lift system. In river lift system, where canal system is not applicable or there is not adequate reservoir, so lift system is used. In this, what is done? In this, water is directly taken out from the river. और कहाँ पे it is applicable? It is applicable in those areas which are very close to the river. So, if the area is very close to the river, so from the river directly the water is given to the field area. And then we have tanks, artificial tanks, right? They store, like we have at homes, they store water and can be used whenever required, right? And many new initiatives, development have been done in case of, you all know, that is rain water harvesting. I hope you have done this earlier also. I will just recapitulate. Rain water harvesting, that is the rain water is collected and used when there is no rain. The water is stored. And second development which is done is, you will be doing in class 10th in detail, that is watershed management. In watershed management, what they do? In this, they manage soil as well as water. Both is maintained. And one of the example is to build check dams. Small dams are built, check dams are built, which lead to an increase in groundwater level. And the check dams, especially during rainy season, they stop the rainwater and reduce soil erosion. So students, you can mark, it is given on page 207, the watershed management and rainwater harvesting, including building check dams, which controls the rainwater also and reduce soil erosion. So in watershed management, they not only take care of water but also of soil, and these are the various sources of water, right? Now the third step to improve the production. First step you understood, adding manure and fertilizers. Second is irrigation, watering the plant. And third is to adopt cropping patterns different cropping techniques are adopted, like first is multiple cropping. Multiple cropping. Multiple means many, or you can call it as mixed cropping. In multiple cropping or mixed cropping, on a piece of land, not one variety is grown, more than one variety combination is grown. What is the benefit? For example, they grow wheat and they grow gram, right? Wheat and gram. Why this combination is grown all together? Because wheat take more nutrients, whereas gram take less nutrients, right? So in multiple cropping, many combinations are used. First, nutrient requirements are different, and second, if one crop is failed, at least you get another crop, thereby ensuring against failure of one of the crops, right? Economic balance is maintained. So various combinations you can mark, like wheat and gram. Wheat is cereal, gram is leguminous. Wheat or mustard. Groundnut, it is what? Leguminous. It enriches the soil. And sunflower. So nutrient requirement is different. As a result, the risk is reduced. One is failed, at least you get another crop. So this was mixed cropping. The definition is marked there only. Then second is intercropping. In intercropping, combination of crops are used. Here like here. So what is the difference? Here also combination of crops used. Here also combination of crops used. So what is the difference? In intercropping, when the crops are grown, like one type of crop is grown, then another variety on a same piece of land, two or more crops are grown simultaneously in a definite pattern, not randomly. In a definite pattern, the crops are grown, right? Many benefits are there. Their nutrient requirements are different. Second, one crop is failed, another crop you get. But the most important part is, if let us say a pest attack this crop, right? So that pest cannot attack same crop in this row. Why? Because in between some another layer of crop is there, vegetable or crop is there. So this pest cannot, this pest food item is this cereal, right? Now it has to attack this one, but in between there is row of another crop. As a result, these layers of cereals or crops are saved and protected. So this is an excellent way to prevent pests and diseases from spreading to all the plants belonging to same crops, right? So it is different crops are grown on the same field in a definite pattern or a row. Combination like any cereal is grown along with leguminous plant is grown, like soya bean and maize, like lobia pulse and bajra. So which crops you are taking? Those who have different nutrient requirement. A crop will take more nutrient, another is taking less nutrient. So the nutrient level is balanced. And second, the pest is prevented from spreading to all the plants of same crop. So students, you can mark it on page 208. This is intercropping. You can see definition is given, first 3 lines. Then examples are marked and their benefit. They have shown the diagrams also of intercropping, right? And the third cropping pattern is crop rotation. Crop rotation. In crop rotation, as the name indicates, like there is seed rotation. Okay? A, B, C, D. Next Monday again A will come to its own seat, come back to its seat, original seat, right? It is growing of different crops on a piece of land in alternate section, that is in a pre-plant succession, is known as crop rotation. Like one year, in one season A crop is grown, in second season B crop is grown, and then in next season again A crop is grown, right? Why this is done? For example, we have grown cereal. Cereals, you know, they take too much of nutrients, nitrogen from the soil. Now in the soil, nutrients are reduced. So in next session, we will not grow any other cereal. We will grow in B part, we will grow any leguminous crop, plant. What are leguminous plants? They enrich the soil with nitrogen and their nutrient requirement is very low. So this plant crop has taken too much of nutrient. Now next session we will not grow this cereal again or any other cereal. We will grow leguminous crop. As a result, the fertility of the soil is maintained. Then next session again we will grow some other cereal. So this is crop rotation, right? So if crop rotation is done properly, then 2 or 3 crops can be grown in a year with a very good harvest. So students, these 3 steps, that is use of manure and fertilizer to increase the fertility. Second, proper irrigation facility methods to provide water throughout the year, and various cropping patterns help to maintain fertility of the soil, thereby increase crop production. Now students, the third sector where improvement is required. First we did crop variety improvement, second we did crop production improvement, and third is crop protection management improvement. In 2 areas we have to protect the crop. First, when the crop is on the field, and second, when the crop after harvesting is stored, right? So first, when the crops are standing on the field, how they are damaged? There are large number of weeds. There are weeds. There are insects or pests which attack the crop, causing various diseases. So these factors, biotic factors, harm the standing crop, right? So first is weeds. What are weeds? Weeds are the unwanted plants. These are unwanted plants which are grown along with the main crop. For example, you might have observed at your home also, you can check in your kitchen garden or any flower pot. If you have grown any flower or any vegetable, along with that flower or vegetable, some grass is grown along with it. You have not grown that grass, but that grass has grown along with the main crop. That grass is unwanted plant. That is known as weeds. Why they are harmful? Because these unwanted plants, beta you have to learn examples, right? Xanthium, Parthenium is given in the NCERT. Why it is required to remove them? It is required to remove these weeds because they grow along with the main crop. As a result, they compete for food, space, light. Whatever food, manure, fertilizer you are giving to main crop, who is taking benefit? Weeds. They will fight for space, and sometime we might have observed that these weeds grow more than the main crop, right? So they take the space, they take the nutrients and reduce the growth of the main crop. So it is very important to remove them, and the process of removing weeds is known as weeding. The process of removing weeds is known as weeding. Either we do it manually, right? Agar field is small, or we spray chemicals known as, those chemicals are known as weedicides to kill the weeds, right? Then there are many insect and pests, they attack the plants. How they attack the plants? First, how they attack, any insect or pest attack the plant. Either they cut the root, stem or leaf. They cut it. Like you might have observed spinach के leaf में many time you might have observed उसमें holes होते हैं. तो holes कहाँ से हो जाते हैं? That the leaf is eaten by the insect, some part, right? Or the stem, right? Then secondly, how they cause harm? They suck, they take the cell nutrients, cell sap from various parts, right? And thirdly, they go inside, they bore into the stem or fruits. They go inside stem and fruit. Many times when you cut mango, so you can see worms are inside it, or brinjal, insect is inside it. So those insect pests, they go inside the stem. From stem they make their way to the fruit and you cannot consume it. So it affects the health of crop as well as people eating them, thereby reducing the crop yield. So for this, what we spray? We spray what? We use, for killing them, we use chemicals, insecticides, or we use pesticides. But when we use these chemicals, they are harmful, they cause air pollution also, soil damage also, and we consume any fruit and vegetable which have been sprayed by them, so they can cause harm to us also. That is why it is said that you should soak vegetable and fruits before consumption, and thorough washing to be done to remove these chemicals from the skin. And nowadays we peel the fruits and vegetables in most of the cases in order to remove these chemicals. Right, students? So you can mark from the book also, from page 208. You can see weeds, the unwanted crops, then the examples, two examples to be learned of all. Right, students? Next is where to protect the crop. Next is after harvesting, we store them, right? In silos, in granaries, in godowns. So it is very important to protect them during storage. Why? Because many factors are responsible for causing harm, like there are rodents, rats, fungi, right? Moisture. If you have not dried the cereal properly and you have packed them, fungus is there and there is damage to grain. So there is loss of so much of labor, time, money which we have invested in growing the crops, right? So there are various factors which cause harm to the grains. So they are categorized as biotic and abiotic factors. Biotic means living organisms like rodents, insects, mites, bacteria, fungus, and many abiotic factors in the godowns where they are stored, inappropriate moisture or temperature where they are stored. So what will happen? It will cause degradation in quality. Quality will be degraded, right? Or discoloration of produce, color will change. Loss in weight, बीच में rice में you can see when you soak or wash pulse or rice, you can see many rice granules and pulses, they float. Those are the damaged one. poor quality one which we don't consume. All this leads to poor marketability. Commercial point of view, there is a loss. So it is very important to protect the grains during storage. So for this, various preventive measures are used. What is done? First, proper cleaning of the product to be done. Proper cleaning to be done. So first is what precautionary steps? Precautionary steps we will take, that is proper cleaning to be done. Proper cleaning, right? And then proper drying. There should be very less moisture so that when they are stored in godowns for months and years, they don't develop fungus or they don't attract rodents, mites, bacteria, right? So proper cleaning to be done, proper drying to be done, and after they are stored in those whole area, fumigation must be done. Fumigation, smoke. Fumigation, that is chemicals are sprayed. Chemicals are sprayed in order to kill insects and pests. So students, if we do improvement in these three sectors, that is crop variety improvement, crop production improvement, crop protection improvement, we Indians have excelled in crop production. We not only have started growing sufficient grains, but we also have started exporting our product. There is too much increase in our agricultural products. So students, this agricultural topic is complete. In next lecture, we will start animal husbandry. Thank you students.